So I'm making lemon curd, and right now I'm putting in the honey. It's half a cup because I'm making a double batch. And then I have 1 cup of lemon juice that was freshly squeezed, and 2 teaspoons of lemon zest. And when I zested the lemon, I used a microplane grater, and the extra I dried to use in spice blends. Now I'm going to add the eggs. I crack them into individual dishes before I pour them in there because we get eggs from a farm and I want to make sure that there's nothing wrong with them. I rarely, if ever, find a bad one. So there's a total of 6 eggs. And I don't have the heat on the pan yet. And I just mix everything in the pan. You could do it in a separate bowl and then pour it in the pan if you wanted. I find it easier just to do it all right into the pot. 2 more eggs left. I love to make lemon curd. It is so delicious and it's got so many uses. So I always make sure to make a double batch because we use it on yogurt and put it in your oatmeal even. We've made ice cream with it. All right, that was the last egg. Now I'm going to whisk everything, and you want to make sure that the eggs are very well mixed in there and beaten well. You don't really want little bits of the white that aren't mixed in well because when it cooks, it will coagulate as the white and kind of be a strange texture, even though I do strain it when I'm done. So I just whisk it really, really good. And because I'm using honey instead of sugar, it doesn't melt until I get it on the heat. So I've turned the heat on low just to get the honey to melt so I can make sure it's all well whisked together. And I'm using a flat whisk here instead of a regular whisk, but any type of whisk will work just fine. So I get it all mixed up as the honey melts, and then I have the heat on medium low once the honey's melted. And this is where I add the last ingredient, which is your cut up butter. So I have a whole stick of butter here that I cut into chunks. And so now I'm just going to continuously stir till the butter's melted. And then you just keep stirring. It takes about approximately, I'm going to guesstimate like 6 or so minutes for it to fully cook. Because right now we're basically just melting the butter. But as the butter gets mixed in and everything continues to cook, it won't, you don't want it to boil, but it will come up to just slightly bubbling around the edge and it will thicken. So I just continuously stir it and you'll kind of feel that it gets a different texture. And I make sure I continuously sort of scrape the bottom and make sure nothing gets scorched. So just keep stirring. You can see it's starting to get thick. See how it's gotten thick now? And it's a little bit, it looks a little bit chunky, but that's because you have a whole egg in there. And so it does tend to get a little chunky, which is why now that I'm turning off the heat, I want to remove it right from the heat. And this is why the next step is to strain the lemon curd through a very fine mesh strainer into a bowl. And that will help get out any little bits of egg that coagulated. I'm just going to pour it all right into the strainer. And then remove the pan. And then I just stir it through the strainer until it all goes through. And you'll should by the end just be left with a little bit of material that's like cooked egg. And I just discard that. And this way you get a nice smooth lemon curd. As you can see, some of the chunks in there you can kind of see in the strainer, and it's getting to be where it's just a real thick bits of egg in there. And I just keep pushing the lemon curd through the strainer till there's not much liquid part left. And all that's left are some bits, sticky bits I call them. So that's it. And then the last thing that I do, I kind of clean off the edge of my spatula so I don't have any little bits in there. And then I scrape the bottom to make sure I get all that wonderful lemon curd off of the strainer. So that's all there is to it. I let it cool till room temperature and I put a piece of plastic wrap right on top of the lemon curd before I put it in the refrigerator with a lid over the top of the bowl. That way it won't form a skin. So that's all there is to making your own lemon curd. Bye.